Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev. How's it going, girl?
It's going good.
Going?
Yeah. I would say life is going good. I have more clarity, and clarity makes things feel a little bit different, a lot different.
It's true.
So I'm just kind of playing that with that. And then really, we kind of finished off with the last thing, but really being my own cheerleader, really learning to love my own self, learning what that looks like. Maybe it's sitting and massaging my feet. Maybe it's sitting and watching TikTok for a little bit. If that's what makes me feel good, it's whatever. Because I'll always set my intentions before I do any of that stuff, anyways. Like, I want bring me the best information I could possibly use at this time. That's good, for the greatest good or whatever. So I like to do a lot of that stuff. So I'm really learning how to walk with myself, be happy with myself, not judge myself because I didn't do what somebody else wanted me to do. Walk through the processes of, feeling the guilt from the old patterns from childhood because I'm not doing what I think someone else expects of me, right? Reading their mind. I've recognized millions of times now that I think I must have had to read my mom's mind a lot at being a kid or those around me. And then knowing that I could do all those things and then cutting it all off, later on, not even recognizing how I cut myself off from all that. But I did. Was not anybody else. Because even as a child, I could have chose something different. I really could have. In a lot of different perspectives, I could have chose things differently. Maybe I did at the time. I know that I chose the best that I possibly could. But now I look back and I know that we can change a lot of those experiences, which you also kind of touched on last video. We can change a lot of those experiences just by how we perceive it. So, because from the child perspective, our perception was a little bit more, Mom, he keeps poking me or she keeps picking on me. So we're tattletelling them because we're blaming it on somebody else instead of realizing that our energy was in a space at that time that actually welcomed that kind of behavior, not even knowing. I think when I come back again, because if I do, I'm going to come back to parents that are already aware of all this stuff and then help grow and nurture all these abilities instead of having to go the opposite direction of like, yeah, I think I signed up because I want to go ahead and do it the hard way. And yeah, and so I did.
Girl, you me both. I think that's what the Gen X generation is all about. It was funny because I did this morning watched a TikTok video about Gen X and how we were when we were growing up. He started out with, yeah, we're waking up. Gen X is waking up. We're tired. We want to rest. We want to recover. But you people, I'm going to use nice words. You people are not making it easiest for us, and we have to wake back up. And you're talking about a generation that was, right? And then he goes through the whole thing about what our generation did growing up, complete survival skills. Like we wore, our road rash as a badge of honor, and we sucked it up, and we just kept on playing on the asphalt, like all the things. Like I can just totally rattle off the things that we did as when I was growing up, um and anyway. It's like we're tired. We want to rest. We are in our healing phase now, but very easily we can go right back into survival and we don't give up. And that's one of the biggest things is that we were taught to persevere no matter what, no matter what. And that's one of the things that I am grateful that I had instilled in me is you keep showing up. And my spirit, girl, my spirit was strong in that department because there were so many times I wanted to throw in the towel and say, I am done. And I thought about every way possible to not be here. It was a couple people in my life, not by direct conversation, but just thinking about them that kept me here. And that's to me is perseverance. Like you will keep going and you will figure this out. And yeah, it sucks right now, but you're gonna get through it.
Yeah, we just plowed through it. Like that
Yeah.
was, there was no other way. I mean, even though, like you said, there was sometimes it was like laying down crying or, I walked a lot of the same path that you did, trying, not wanting to be here, but somehow I always feel like there was angels around me and I didn't even
Yeah.
understand that until later on. Almost flipping my car. There was like so many things that, because, I was one of those kind of rebellious teenagers. So
Yeah.
thank God it was a small town, but it's the same. I always feel like there was something that was there guiding and protecting, even though I didn't understand.
Right. Right. And so when you say be my own cheerleader, there are so many things I didn't have this vocabulary, be my own cheerleader or self-love or angels or guides or um energy. Didn't have all that when we were growing up. None of it. The only thing we knew of was friends going to church, and I didn't go to church. Like my family didn't go to church.
Yeah,
And so but back then though it was more on the guilt tripping side of what was taught in church. I think it's starting to transform now. I'm not sure, I still don't go. uh but to be my own cheerleader, I don't know what the hell that meant. I was like, I would look at you and be like, what are you talking about? This sucks. This is what I'm facing, and have not a clue what this actually meant. Be my own cheerleader. No, it's my mom's job. It's my, biological dad who I've never met. It's my stepdad's job. It's my grandparents' job. It's like all these other people need to be cheering me on but you know what? If any of them, even the people in my life today, if any of them knew the journey I walked, they would probably be surprised that I am still here. It's like, and it's not just the physical stuff. It is the mental and emotional stuff that I endured in myself, and the pain and agony and suffering that I caused myself in my head because I didn't know how else to deal with it.
yeah,
So for that, yeah. So for that today, yeah, I am my own cheerleader. I look in the mirror and say, you know what? You're doing a great job. You might be feeling some frustration and irritation right now, but you know what? At least you're not going out to the bar and getting smashed and then getting up tomorrow and doing the same thing. Like,
yeah,
there's so many things that I do. I look in the mirror and I'm like, man, you're you are doing amazing compared to, and I can only compare myself to who I used to be. Compared to where you were and compared to where you are now, girl, you are freaking dynamic, right? So it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
talking to ourselves about that.
And I've been doing that. Otherwise, waiting around for someone else to cheerlead you. When I was growing up, because I was the black sheep or the rebellious child. How come you can't just get good grades like your sister? How come you can't just do this? How come you? And it's like I was never meant to do any of those things, and it's not anything against anybody at all. It's just if I was waiting for them to cheer me on, they weren't going to cheer me on. Well, I wasn't giving them things to cheer me on about, really, because I was having my own battle inside
Yeah.
always. And so if we wait around for something like that, we're always going to be waiting. And then we're always going to be feeling like we weren't good enough or we didn't. I was even just talking yesterday about, I was always picked over. I was, oh, she's too white, she's too this, she's too that, too tall, too whatever. All these things when I was growing up, I was always, it seemed that in a relationship standpoint. And it's like that kind of, those were patterns. And it's like I was carrying that along with me still. And it's like those are patterns. And when I look at it as a pattern, I don't have to carry it anymore. It doesn't, for me, it's like it totally disables it. It's just a pattern. I don't have to continue walking that path anymore. And then I do, is like you said, I never did it before, but I do it now and I'll get in the mirror and I talk to myself and I say things to myself. And it's pretty fascinating when you start doing that stuff because you start noticing that the reflection is changing the more you start talking to yourself.
Yeah.
There's something there so much bigger. It makes my eyes water. makes me feel a little bit of emotions. It's like, yeah, they see me or she sees me.
Yeah.
I've
Right.
been here the whole time. Yeah. And it's that alignment, right? When we feel like things are going crazy, like we talked in the last video, when there's a couple, a time frame that we're feeling all these feelings that aren't feeling, feelings of angst instead of feeling joyful and happy. It it kind of holds us back. It kind of keeps us stuck in that space. And it's unnecessary. We do it to ourselves. And it's just to be in that process of recognizing again, they're just patterns. How can I let, I mean, it's, and then you ask your questions, how can I let this go? But for me, like I said, I've just made it more neutral when I say that's a pattern. Oh, I just received information. Oh, that's a pattern. That's my thoughts. So it's like I'm kind of returning the power back to myself and then being able to, by doing that, now I'm like, oh, you're doing a great job. So now I can get in front of that mirror and tell myself I'm doing a great job. But I can totally see everything. Like I said, started to say, I can totally see everything. My eyes changed, the light in my eyes changed, the reflection, my complexion, everything starts to shift. Things are starting to change it's like just by taking that time to acknowledge yourself. And I'm saying this now because I'm kind of surprised too, because I have noticed these things. And it's like that's all it took was that's self-love. That's part of it. I mean, that's one of the pieces of it. But it's being able to even look at yourself in the mirror. We're talking to a gal yesterday that she would be talking and she'd look up and away. And it's like, I remember those days. And I even told her I said, hey, I went through this retreat one time. And I said, it really, it really changed a lot of things because I said we had to sit with our knees touching someone else and sit across from a person, touching their face, looking them in the eyes the whole time. And that was not a process for me. That was not my pattern because my pattern was to look away. Don't look into their eyes for too long. You're gonna die. I don't know what I was thinking, but I tried to avoid a lot of those things. So
Yeah.
it's really been a journey.
Well, and now we go back and look at all those experiences where those people were not cheering us on. First of all, they didn't know how to, right? They're all trying to figure life out too and how to
Exactly.
raise children and nobody gets the playbook on that. But in that, we have learned how to do it ourselves. And so instead of trying to rely on other people to cheer us on, we learn to do it ourselves. Self-acceptance. And when somebody is cheering you on, somebody does give you kudos, somebody says, "Hey, you are doing a good job," or "Hey, I like the way you," when somebody compliments you, typically, even today, these days, I've reached higher milestones and have been receiving awards and stuff, and people are coming up and congratulating me and all this, and still inside me, I feel the discomfort of receiving those compliments. And that's what we do, right? We might cheer ourselves on, but when somebody outside of us reflects that too and compliments us and cheers us on, we don't know how to receive it from other people because we didn't have it before in our life. That is a pattern.
Mhm.
Now it's okay for me to do it, just like it was okay for me to beat myself up and put myself down. But when somebody outside of me, a friend, a coworker, a family member, a spouse, a child, compliments me or says something negative about me, it's not okay, right? We push it away. We're like, you can't do that. That's not comfortable. I don't know what that. But internally, what our system, our subconscious mind, and our body is saying is, we're not used to this. We're not used to being acknowledged for good things. We're not used to having somebody see us for the things that we are doing that are good, right? Because we always got in trouble. And now somebody's seeing us for something that we're doing good and we still don't know how to receive that compliment. So it's again, it's unlearning the way we've been, learning a new process, learning to receive is huge. A compliment is um a receiving of a gift. A compliment is a gift. And so learning to receive the gifts and be okay with that, to receive with gratitude instead of push it away and say, oh no, it's okay. Oh, you didn't have to say that. Oh, thanks, but these are the things that we typically do because it's uncomfortable to our system. and like our parasympathetic nervous system. It's uncomfortable. We don't know how to be in that space of receiving compliments. And and so it's like, okay, well, you practice in the mirror by being your own cheerleader. And when you are focused on that, when you are focused on, when I am focused on the things that I see in myself that are great qualities, good behaviors, whatever we want to title them, then people outside of us will start reflecting that too, and they see that stuff within you, and they voice it to you, and it's a like a validation or confirmation of what you're seeing in yourself. So it's like, yes, of course they're going to see that in you because you see it in you. And so now you're training yourself to treat yourself in a better way, which means the people outside of you are going to do the same thing. They're going to mirror your behavior towards yourself. That is what we do. It's an energetic manifestation, and we attract the people to see what we see within ourselves. So if you are putting yourself down in your thoughts and you're beating yourself up for things that you've done and do, of course people are going to show up to tell you those same things. You're a piece of shit, you're worthless, you're dumb, you're an idiot. Like they're going to show up and say the same things, but it's not okay that they do it because they don't have the right to do that. Well, they are mirroring what you're doing to yourself. This is what we
Yep.
do for each other.
That's right. So back to the gratitude. Thank you. I've got goosebumps on that. So yeah, I'm in agreement with it as well. It rings as truth for me.
And it's a reminder for myself as well, because inside, I've recently received a prestigious award, and afterwards, people coming up to me saying, "Congratulations, your speech resonated with me. I um I appreciate the things that you like." I'm just like, this is unfamiliar territory for me. I've not ever been in this position before, and now I have to program my system, my parasympathetic nervous system, to feel safe and okay. That's on me.
Yeah.
And when you're doing things that are unfamiliar, your body is reacting in ways that you're like, what is happening right now? I don't know, right?
And then
Well,
our mind's trying to process it with the old patterns, right? With these new feelings. And there's like the new feelings are, you can't process it with the old patterns. It doesn't work.
right. And you have to learn to train yourself to say, and I do this on a regular basis, I am okay and I am safe, even with things that are good. People complimenting me is good. It's good. I just am learning to receive it in a
Yeah.
different way. So I have to train myself. I have to program myself that this is a space to be okay in and be safe.
Yeah.
You know what? We are such, I say it all the time, we are interesting creatures. We are so interesting, and you got to just learn to know, you got to learn the operations. No different than a computer. The computer has back ends, right? The cookies, the cache, the programs that are running in the background. Like it has all these things, and if you don't know about them or you don't know how to clear it up or do, then your computer goes all wonky. It slows
Yeah.
down. It you get malware. You get all these things. Like things happen if you don't know the system or you don't get somebody to help you with your system. And that's what we are, only we're human. We're so like a computer system. We're
We
we're
are.
so in parallel with a computer system. And when you get frustrated with your computer or it's working dynamically and the internet's great and all the things, recognize how you see that within yourself. It's
Hmm.
the same.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we can change our programming, we can change our systems, but we
We can
have to
do,
do that.
yeah. It's 100%. And I do think that we are quite similar to computers. And I have recently even thought about, oh, must have downloaded a virus. You know what I mean? It's because we get around people and we don't recognize how much we can kind of settle into their energy. And then we bring it home with us. We walk around with it. And so we don't recognize it, but it's the same thing. So when you said that, I was like, that's right. I mean, I just probably in the last couple of weeks had recognized the viruses. I never thought about the viruses before, but I thought about defragmentation and, having to go in and clean up the system because you got files laying all over the place. And you can see that externally in your house. You can see it how your outside is a reflection of the inside. Like you said, the people that show up, how you're talking to yourself. Now it's making me want to go like every day, be in the mirror, like you're doing such a great job. The thing is, what my mind just kind of showed me is we've seen like movies and stuff like that of the person doing the self-help book. You're amazing. You're awesome. And then some other people being like all the ego. You're freaking awesome. And you're, walking through all pompous and stuff like that. That's what flashed into my head. And it's like, that's not even the true story. Not for me, not coming from that space, but that's a pattern. There's a thought there that thinks, oh, well, if I'm doing that, then I'm coming from my ego. And it's like, it's not ego. By how it feels. So when you're in that mirror and cheering yourself on for the day, like, man, you did so many great things today and yesterday. And you've talked about it before, reflecting on the things that you've done that were good throughout the day. And I've seen these videos talking to kids like, tell me the great things that happened today, because I'm even recognizing within my own family, some of the little ones might be more on the negative side of, and I say negative side, noticing the things that don't feel good all day long. I'm like, oh, you're all smiling and great. Are you happy right now? Oh yeah, but such and such did this already at the age of 7. So it's like there's things, and so it's opportunities to show up for me, to recognize why it's showing up for me. What can I do with this information? And then being able to kind of mirror back, different information or give a different template, new patterns to the little ones that are around me. So they don't have to carry this stuff, or at least because they have an option, they have the choice. They can either do it or don't do it. So when they're around, I just constantly reiterate in the way that I show up so that they can learn and do and be different. It's their choice,
Yeah.
just like it's my choice. And I realize, even being the adult that has raised children that I thought I had control over that I never did, I recognize I don't have control over them either. All I can do is be the best version of myself that shows up every time. That's it.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, afterwards, so after I received this one particular award recently, I've been in the practice of receiving. The main practice of receiving is saying thank you. Right. And so even in that experience of the award, people coming up to me, I I felt my body kind of freeze, like, oh, and I would say thank you, genuinely say thank you, but my body was like, this is not familiar. Um, and I said thank you because that's all I could do in that moment. Then later, because I talked about part of my speech was in receiving this award was I talked about how I didn't want to be on this planet. Not in those words, but I talked about that. And people coming up to say thank or to congratulate me and say your speech resonated with me or I enjoyed your speech. All I could do in that moment was say thank you because I was in unfamiliar territory. This is new to me. So then later, what I started thinking was, you're pretty rude. You could have said, oh, what part of your speech resonated with you and created a conversation, got to know this person and connected. I am in unfamiliar territory. I don't know how to be that person yet. But now that I have recognized, the experience happened, I thought about it later. And now when it happens again, if I'm in that kind of an experience, now I'll remember, connect, say thank you and connect. Right? Each time it's a step and each time I get better. That's what my entire life has been about. Okay, you got to practice this for a while till you get good at it. And then what's the next step? Well, the next step is going to be create dialogue, communicate, connect with the person who is approaching me. If I don't know what I don't know, and if I don't feel safe, I'm only going to do what's going to keep me safe in that moment.
Yeah.
And so when I don't know what these people think of me, they come up and maybe they're trying to connect with me and all I can say is thank you and they might have walked away thought, wow, she's not very personable. I don't know. They could have. I don't, they may not. I don't know. But the fact that if they did, they're not in my body to know what I'm experiencing in that moment to even be able to say thank you.
Yeah. But it's also recognizing at the same time that could have been all that person could have handled was exactly what you said.
Right.
Because there was nothing wrong. Because sometimes people, maybe it was enough for that person to even be able to come up and say what
Right.
you said resonated with me. So that might have been the biggest part that needed to happen at that moment. But now you know that you'll do something a little bit different, you know, from that perspective, from a growing perspective. But everything is exactly as it should be.
Yes. And coming back around that I can still be a cheerleader for myself to even
Yeah.
have shown up in that space to have that experience and have these people come up to me and compliment me and
Yeah.
receive an award in front of like 100 people. It's like you're learning and you're growing. Be proud of yourself for that. So
Exactly.
those maybe they may seem like to you or the audience little steps. To me, it was a ginormous step. So it's like perspective.
Yeah.
And it's not for the people outside of me to decide what that moment was like. It's
Yeah.
for me to be like, girl, you did a great job. Good for you. You showed up, you gave a speech, you received compliments, you said thank you. Like I did all those things the best I could in that moment. And what I'm saying these things because I want other people to recognize that in your experience, you could be making huge steps. You got to cheer yourself on. Doesn't matter what other people are thinking or saying.
That's right.
It's your experience. And whether they're tiny itty bitty steps or they're ginormous steps, you have to cheer yourself on for the steps that you're taking and the for the direction that you're deciding to move in.
Yeah. It's so awesome because you're cheering yourself on in the mirror and then you're getting cheered on the outside. So it's exactly what you were saying earlier. It's a match to the energy. It's a match to what you're putting out to the world. It's a match to how you're treating yourself. It's all those things and how it's shown up for you.
And
Big
and
round
you
of applause
I know, right?
because it's big.
And I'm an introvert by nature. So these are huge steps for an introvert. Somebody who's an extrovert, they can just be like, oh, and they're just talk and they'll just do all the things and they just make it look so easy. But an introvert, not so easy. We got a lot of training to do within ourselves to be that people person
Yeah.
in public. We're good one on one, we're good in private. But when you put us in a group or in front of people or the center of attention, that's uncharted territory and we're not comfortable. And so these are, for me to even be where I'm at, is that's ginormous. That's like ginormous for me. And people see me who I am today. They didn't see me who I was 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. So I only know my journey and I only know um the hurdles and things that I've accomplished and came over and went through and all the things, right? I know that. Everybody else doesn't know that about me. Even the people who think they know me don't know.
Yeah.
So I want the audience to know that too. People don't know your story. People don't know the things that you've gone through mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. They don't know your story. And it doesn't matter how much you try to explain your story to somebody, they still will not get it. They will still not have ever been in your body to have those experiences. It's like trying to explain a wild dream to somebody and there's no words to explain it. It's like people who've had near death experiences. they and the colors that they see and the experience that they had, there's no words to explain it in a way that would be as meaningful and touch you the way it touched them or the way it affected their life. They can't. There's no explanation for it in the human words. And so it's the same with your own journey. Nobody will ever, ever, ever understand. They may be similar. Like Bev and I have similarities.
Yeah,
And we can understand each other because of our similarities. But neither one of us have had the exact same experiences.
that's true. There's no way, it's not possible.
Right.
Otherwise, I'd have to be you and you'd have to be me. I mean, it's just not,
The
I mean,
next
for a
life,
whole experience, yeah.
we'll have to rewind and switch. I don't know. How would that work?
I don't even know because that would mean we would have to be living someone else's life the whole time and never live our lives. Even though I feel like in a lot of ways, we probably growing up, being the chameleons, probably have lived a lot of other people's lives
Yeah.
and not lived our own life.
Yeah. Right. So be your own cheerleader. Don't expect other people to do it for you. And keep reminding yourself that in this moment, I am safe and I am okay. And keep doing your best.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, with that, friends, other people are thinking these things, having these conversations, probably in private if you're an introvert. Um, and, be resourceful. If these videos, content of us, other teachers, speakers, influencers are making a positive impact on your life, then share it. Be resourceful. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spreaker, Spotify, Podcast Addict, and YouTube. So, we are in many places. I feel like we're almost omnipresent. What do you think?
I mean, when you narrow it all down, yes, exactly.
All right, friends. Thanks for hanging out with us. Tea time with Amy and Bev, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.